I'm making this video as a demonstration of how to install the WebWidgets open core server. I'm going to walk through this script. This is in the repo, so you can see this script and follow along. Today is October 19th. This script might change in the future, so if you're looking at a more recent version than's in the video, remember to take that into account. The requirements for this installation are pretty simple. It's basically a Linux machine. It could be a Raspberry Pi. I'm going to show a AWS install. We're going to need Java 11 and Python, and I'm going to install those as part of the script. We're also going to need a Java app server. So I'm going to use Resin, which is made by a company called Coucho. So you can use Resin like I do, or you can also use Tomcat or other app servers like that. I think there's one called Glassfish. Okay, so I have just lit up a completely clean AWS instance. There's nothing on it. It's just the bare metal, just what comes with the Amazon Linux package. And I'm going to SSH into that machine. As the EC2 user. So I should be more clear what I'm doing here. So I'm SSH, this is a little alias I have, just SSHs as the EC2 user. And yes, they should be ready to go. It says initializing. Okay, so it should be ready to go. All right, so now I'm just going to run these commands and narrate what's going on. Some of these do require a sudo prefix, so that means you're running as root. This directory is just where I put my stuff, so there's nothing special about this. You can put it anywhere you want, but I'm going to create this directory and assign it to EC2 user. The important thing to note is that this directory, down further here in the script, this directory is going to be this directory, along with the installation path, is going to be important in these scripts. So if you do something different, just make sure you change that. All right, let's install Amazon Java 11. This takes a minute. This is probably the biggest. Java is a pretty big system, so it takes a minute to install. Okay, so that should be good to go. By the way, this Credo thing is just Amazon's version of Java 11. There's nothing special about that. We just need Java 11. And let's do Python. I'm installing 3.7, but we can use higher versions of... It does need Python 3, but I don't think there's going to be a problem if you use 3.8 or 3.9 or 3.10 or anything like that. Let's do... This is a port forwarding thing. Now we're going to install Git. Git is pretty light, so that should go fast. Okay, and now we're installing the actual repo. All right, so it's just a Git clone. I'm going to put it in opt user data WebWidget demo. And by the way, this, if it's not clear, this repo is the same one as I'm looking at now. So this repo has this shell script itself. You can put it anywhere you want, but just be aware when you're running these scripts, obviously you need to use the path to the actual script. So if you change this installation directory, you need to run these scripts with the appropriate path. All right, so let's do that. Boom, very fast. This is a light repo. Okay. In this script is intended to run as a startup script for running Amazon instances. And for that reason, I put the output of these scripts in these log files. But since I'm running it in a video now, I'm just going to show that at the command line. So this is a simple thing. It's just downloading some jars and setting up some folders. These jars are very simple. I believe in lightweight dependency structures. So this is a JSON parser. JSON symbol is very lightweight JSON parser. This is the SQLite wrapper, the JDBC wrapper for SQLite, and this is the servlet API. And now we can compile. We have those jars. The scripts know the folder layout, so they know where to pick up the jars and that kind of stuff. Now we're going to this command is a little bit. There's a couple things going on here. This is going to download resin and configure it. So configuring it just means editing some XML files. All right, the script does that for you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it until you want to install a full-fledged version of the system. And then it's a little bit of configuration. So that worked. So now I'm going to run this command. So this command is important, and what this is doing is that it's telling the server to accept insecure connections. So very important warning: do not run this in prod. If you want to use this for serious work, just make sure you don't use this command. The reason I have to do it for the demo is that otherwise we would need to configure SSL. So SSL, you require a domain name to get an SSL cert. It's a sort of a, if you're not familiar with the process, it's a little bit of administrivia stuff to get that SSL cert configured. So I'm turning it into non-secure mode so that I can demo it without the SSL cert. All right, so let's now set up the master DB. All right, so that is cool. So let's look at this thing. This is going to be a database in the shared user section. And you can just go right in there and see all of the stuff that is in there. It's basically a user listing, some information about email permissions, some system setting, and permissions. So permissions are if one user wants to share their widgets with another user, you can do it with that table. And one thing I want to point out is the layout. The scripts create a db4 widget directory as a peer, as a sibling of the install directory. And the path for a user is the username, is the db path, the username, followed by a SQLite file. And the widget serve directory is for the files that the app server is going to serve. So we're going to use this system, you upload code like basically web page code to the server, and then the server gives it back to you with the widgets enabled. So the HTML and the JavaScript all goes in this widget serve directory. All right, so that's cool. So let's copy some code for the repo. So what this is doing is it's taking code in the repo and pulling it into the shared users setup. So there's a lot of places where, let's look at this. So it's CSS, image, and JavaScript library. This images are just some icons. JavaScript library is the important thing. These are JavaScript files that work with WebWidgets. So in order for the WebWidget system to work, the browser has to have, in particular, the main API file and the util file. Right, so that's easy. Now we're going to create a user. So we're just saying, create this user. Boom. It creates a folder for, again, the user's databases and the user's code. Goes right in the test user. Okay, and this is going to update the password. Now this is another warning about secure operation. Normally you wouldn't want to, it tells you this warning. Normally you don't put a password on the command line because it can go into a log file and then somebody can look at the log file and get your password. But just for demo purposes, I'm doing it like that. Now I'm going to import some widgets for this user. So the import works by, why is this not? Something weird going on with my browser here. Okay. This is pulling code and data from the gallery. So all this comes from the gallery files in here. All right, so this one did links. All right, this widget from the gallery file, the gallery directory. And also the demo data is this SQL dump. So if you want to look at this, this is just SQL statements that create this database. And I'm going to do a couple of these. Routine. And questions. These are the 4 widgets that I sort of start off with just to show people what can be done. Now there are going to be 4 databases in the test user directory. So those 4 are the ones I just imported. And there's going to be code in the test user serving directory. Okay, so that's that. By the way, AutoGen.js is JavaScript files that get built from the databases. So the system inspects the layout of the SQLite database and creates these JavaScript files based on that schema. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so now there's just one more command I need to run, which is the base import. And that is basically just creating a starter file. This file, index.jsp, is basically a splash file. That's also imported from the gallery. Okay, so this is just showing the config, and it's giving us the directories, the Java class directory, some other stuff, and telling us that we're in insecure mode. And finally, what we're going to do is restart the demo server. And that looks like it works. There is a log file you can find for Resin if you're interested in that. So you can see here there's Resin runs 2 processes. One is a watchdog, and that basically means it restarts the server if the server crashes. So it looks like it's running. So now I'm going to take this DNS address, and compose a URL. Now it's important to notice that it's not HTTPS. We're in insecure mode. And the browser's gonna tell me that, not secure. Okay, so this is the splash page, and that's what we imported with this command, the base import. All right, so let's look at one of these widgets, and we're gonna have to log in, and this is gonna be the password that you used on the update password command. Okay, and here is the data, right? So this is data that's coming from the SQLite file. All right, so the fact that we can see this data basically is showing that the system is working properly. I'm going to go into this database. No, test user questions. Okay, so here's the schema, and here are the records star from question log. Okay, so these are just the questions that are in this starting data dump. All right, let's go back to the main page and the morning routine. Morning routine is one of my favorite widgets. This is just a checklist that I do every morning. Of course, you can use it in the evening or some other time if you want. But it's got basically a set of phases and then a log that records when we've completed each phase every morning. So let's start from routine log. There's a couple of records already in the database. That's in the data dump. These are from a previous date, so these don't show up today because we're looking at today's data. That's the whole point of the morning routine. So I just created these two log records, and so now you can see that they're flowing in with, again, today is the 19th of October. So those records just appeared. Now, if I want to backtrack a little bit, I can delete them, and then that should be gone. So now we're back at the start, and those are gone. You can see how fast this is, right? This is a completely async operation. You delete that record, the page instantly refreshes based on the data you supplied, and the update goes back asynchronously. Okay, so that is my routine. Other things are pretty standard, like whatever it is. This is just a link manager. Nothing special. I mean, I personally like this because I can build up big databases of links. All the links I've used in the last couple of years of my professional life and studies and everything. Now I can search them, right? So you can do bookmarks. Sure, you can do bookmarks with blah, blah, blah with the browser, but can you search them? Can you manage them? I think this is a better way to do that. Okay, so that has been a demo of getting the basic widget open core installation running with this demo script, this install script. If you have any questions, let me know. One more comment, the open core version doesn't have all the features of the full version, but it has enough to let you get started. The full version has things like email connections. It has a blob storage mechanism, so you can upload an image to widgets and have it store the image. We're working on SMS integration, so you can send text messages from the widget system, and a Google Doc synchronization, so you can create you can sync your widget data to a Google Sheet. All right, so hope you got something out of this video. Let me know if you have any questions. You can find my contact information elsewhere in this GitHub repo. Thanks for listening.